everyone, and welcome to Down Under Paintball. So, this is something I thought I'd throw out there, just an episode zero, where I'm just going to go over a little bit about my plans for the show, some goals I have in mind of what I want to achieve with it, and for those that don't know who I am, a little bit about me. So, I'll get started. I'm Scott. I've played for Sydney SWAT for a number of years, been around the paintball scene in Australia since around 2006. And first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in and checking out this podcast. So we've got a lot of exciting episodes planned. I wanted to get a few in the bag before I launched, so I got four shows done. So you would have seen the promo I put out. If not, check out the Down Under Paintball Facebook page. We've got a little promo there showing the first four guests we have. So those are Kaiser Harris, Ringo Ng, Will McDonald, and Hunter Kazierski. Uh, I always struggle with the Polish name. So basic goals for the show. I want to sort of shine the spotlight on the Australian New Zealand paintball scene. I feel like everyone's always looking overseas, the American scene and the European scene. They do a pretty good job of covering what they're doing and their players and their history. I really feel that Australia's got a great history. A lot of people that are still involved in the sport today had a lot to do with how the sport is where it is today, and I just want to share their story. So I was originally planning on focusing just on the history of paintball, but I've since decided after recording a few episodes that the current form is pretty important too. So sometimes we'll be not looking so far back. We're going to be talking to some newer players and some current players. So it won't all just be old news. Uh, the other thing I am keen to do is just learn, and I hope that you guys can come along with me and we can learn just about everything that made up Australian paintball and New Zealand paintball. There's a lot of battles fought, a lot of things have happened, rules have changed. We've come out of the woods onto the hyperball fields and then onto the airball fields. Guns have changed. We've come from pump to semi-auto. The rule sets have changed from 10 man to 7 to 5. So there's a lot to learn about paintball, and that I've even just in the short few episodes I've recorded already, I've been surprised about a lot of the things I've learned. So I'm keen to learn more, and yeah, hope you guys can come along and on the journey with me. So the other thing that we're going to be doing on the show is you're not always going to hear from the big names. Paintball media in Australia does a really good job of covering the current events. So, we're seeing more and more live streams and webcasts coming up. There's a lot of content being put out on Facebook pages as well. So I just feel like sometimes we need to shine the light on the small guys. They might not be so big in the public eye of paintball, but some people have done quite a lot. So just trying to make sure that we get around, yeah, everyone that's involved in the sport and share their story. And so you're not always going to hear from players either. I'm going to try and get to know referees, photographers, field owners, anyone that's got anything to do with paintball, uh, just to try and get some different perspectives on the sport and the people involved. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of interesting stories to tell. A lot of people that make what we all enjoy and love. There's a lot that goes in behind the scenes of that. So I'm keen to hear the stories from everyone in paintball, and as you'll hear in the coming episodes, I'm getting each guest as well to give me a name of someone that they think would fit on the show. So I'm getting to know people that I've never met before. I'm getting to hear names that of people that I haven't thought of. So I my goal is to get people that I don't know on the show. I feel that I get better stories out of them because I'm learning everything about them. So as well as that, I'll be focusing on all facets of paintball. I know the speedball sort of does get a bit more of attention than all the other paintball, but I do want to cover the woods ball guys as well. I same don't know a lot about the woods ball scene. I know what happens on the East Coast, but as the podcast progresses and the episodes flow through, hopefully we'll get a bit more of a picture about what's happening with with the woods ball scene. So, as well, myself being an East Coast based paintballer, I want to try and focus on all of Australia and all of New Zealand. So, again, as the episodes happen, we'll slowly be progressing through different parts of the country and New Zealand. So, I've already got a couple of names thrown at me for New Zealand paintball because my experience there is pretty limited as well. I've only played a few events over there and I only know the people that travel to the Super Sevens. So, yeah, I'll be keen to explore what's been happening in New Zealand, and yeah, this is all just going to be a big learning experience for all of us, hopefully, and we can move from there. So the other thing I want to get out there is, yeah, as you can probably tell, this is a budget production. I'm by no stretch of the imagination a professional podcast hoster or even sound engineer or anything like that. So I'm just doing this for the love of the sport, and it's something that I'm hoping I can give back. Paintball was really good to me while I was playing, and I feel like I've taken quite a lot from the sport, and now it's time to give back to everyone and put this in. So, yeah, just it's not going to be 100% all the time. You're going to hear glitches, you're going to hear bloopers, you're going to hear people coughing and that kind of stuff. I'm trying to keep the the man hours down on my end. I'm not going to edit every little thing out. So yeah, it's just the same goes with the interviews. I'm just trying to keep a free flow sort of interview format. I'm just sort of chatting to people and asking questions as they pop up. I feel that that sort of sometimes gets the best out of interviews. Sometimes it can be can waffle on a little bit, I guess. Um, but yeah, just want to try and keep it where it's just more natural and where we're just flowing with things and getting the stories out as they sort of come to mind. And yeah, originally, I'd planned to have the guests come on and just talk about their history, but I'm also trying to get them now in the few episodes I've recorded that we're switching it up where we're going to focus more on a subject. So as well as learning about that person and their involvement in the sport, we're going to learn about the team they played for or what they've achieved in paintball and try and focus on a subject of each episode as well. So a little bit about me for those that don't know. So my name is Scott Martin. I played mainly 100% in the Super Sevens. I have traveled around playing events here and there. I've played on Sydney Swap for most of my career. I started originally with a team called Mongrel Mob, and then that quickly became East Coast Raiders. And then they hung around for a few years, but I only played one season with them. Then in 2008, I was put onto SWAT. I got into the sport, luckily enough, when I was just around 15 years old. I happened to get a job because I lived quite close to Action Paintball in Sydney, and I got a job there. But the age limit at that time was 18 to play, so I had to sit in the background and clean toilets and run laser tag games and do things like that until till the lucky day I got to turn 18 and start playing paintball. And luckily enough, yeah, the team called Factory Seconds had just, they won the semi-pro division the year before in 2005, and then they formed a new team called Mongrel Mob, and that's where they were just looking for some local Sydney guys, and I luckily got to, yeah, I'd gone to two training sessions, and just for the luck that it was a bit of a paintball drought for players, and I was, right time at the right moment sort of thing, and I ended up getting put onto a pro team after playing for 2 weeks. So I just sort of got. I don't think I got put there on any talent. It was more just being the right place at the right time. So then, from there, uh, 6 months later, the laws did change, and then 16-year-olds could play. So that was a bit of a kick in the teeth. But anyway, that's you can't control those things. So I've helped out, yeah, Super Sevens quite a lot. That's been my main focus. Um, I did get to play in the AXL when that was about. I've also played one event in the NXL. I've helped Refs Inc. out a few times, refing the AXL, and I've refed an event down in South Australia with them. I played a few times with some different teams around the place. Just off the top of my head, yeah, I remember played a few events with Geelong Extreme back in the AXL. Played with a team Rage City. Got to play with Blitzkrieg as well, and a team called Legion over in New Zealand. So yeah, I've played quite a few events and had a lot of fun in the sport. I've definitely taken, like I said, quite a lot from everyone. I feel like, I've grown up in the sport, grown up with paintball. All the people, the mentors I had taught me so much and sort of made me who I am today. And I have paintball to thank for all of that. So that's sort of the reason I wanted to get this show out. I've met a lot of people in the sport. There's a lot of people that the current players might not know, yeah, the things that they've done and what we've achieved, and want to sort of shine the spotlight on that, just to give those guys the props that I think they deserve. But just being stuck in, or not so much stuck, but being in the East Coast, while I was focused so much on playing, when I was playing it was a different sort of view as at what I have of the sport now. I just really wanted to focus on the Super Sevens and winning events and my team. And now that I've been able to sit in the Super Sevens live webcast booth, I've actually had a chance to focus on teams that I might not have known so much about, and getting to sit and watch every single game and every single point. I've learned just of this the small sample size of Sydney that just there's so many amazing stories out there to be told. And the same, I wasn't always when I was playing, I wasn't always able to see much of the semi-pro or other divisions. So being able to check that out's been cool, and even just to be able to focus now on other states. Like I said earlier, the paintball media in Australia is doing a really good job of getting the word out there, and I'm learning more and more about what's happening. So, yeah, I want to get, to speak to the guys that are on the ground in those different states and those different events. While I don't have the ability to travel to all of them, it'll be great to hear what's going on from those guys and to get the word out, and hopefully inspire some people to travel around the country and go and play some events that maybe they didn't know of, or go and check out some scenes that they didn't know existed. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks for checking this out. We're going to have the first episode with Kaiser Harris launching really soon. So I hope this all works well. And yeah, thanks so much for all the support on the Facebook page and the likes and shares and comments. It's been really good to hear. I've been blown away by the amount of response I've had, and I hope you guys enjoy. And thank you again for tuning in and checking it out. I'm Scott, and this is Down Under Paintball.